care of every aspect of our four bears' health and well-being. The fact that you folks were watching this morning, you probably saw myself, Dr. Rogers, and Scott all in Ted's den. We took out Ted's pool, and it will be only out temporarily until we can place it where he can get in and out of it without having to work so hard or hurt himself. We are putting our heads together to come up with a plan so that Ted has an easier time with that pool. You also probably saw me putting straw in his den, and that's to give him a softer bed to sleep on. Currently, he is under the trees, but it's nice and cool there, so that's a nice place for him to be resting right now. Ted is just at the beginning stages of his shed, where the other three bears have all shed out already. So he's kind of looking kind of brownish and kind of blackish, and some of the hair is starting to grow in on his butt, which looks really good. You may have also noticed that he's resting more. Well, he needs his rest, and that's okay. It's okay for our bears to take breaks. It's okay for him not to have to greet people, even though he is our best ambassador here for greeting folks with his gentle vocalizations. He also teaches the interns much about bear language, both not only using his vocalizations, but just his overall manner. He's just such a very gentle, loving bear. Along with that, it's pretty hot out. Maybe you noticed a couple days ago when it was cooler, Ted was more active. Well, when it gets hot out, I don't like to move around a lot. Well, Ted doesn't either. So there's a heat factor here that sometimes makes it hard for our bears to move. Holly actually didn't do very well when we had those 90-degree days just a few weeks ago. Anyway, as all of you know, the bears here are our top priority, and we don't do too much at all without consulting our veterinarian. And so for Ted, we're just going to let him rest for a few days and let him have a break from everyone. So if you don't see him sitting up at the fence, that's okay. If he wants to lay down, that's okay. We will serve our bears. As you know, we'll take their food into them if they don't come to eat. But with our girls, we don't have to worry too much about that because they both pretty actively will run to what we want. This evening, as Holly and Tasha will be in their dens, we'll let Lucky come out, and he'll be out for the evening tonight. It's cooling down right now, and it's going to be, I think, a nice evening for the bears to be in and for Lucky to be out. The pond is pretty full right now, so I think Franklin kind of likes that. If no one knows who Franklin is, he's the turtle that resides on that log out there in the pond. He's done very, very well of not being noticed by our three bears, so that's good for Franklin. I want to thank everyone, as our bears are almost all in hyperphagia right now, and they're eating more. There's 5 stages of hibernation, and the third one that bears go through is hyperphagia. We have hibernation, of course, as being the end result of the summer and fall, but as they come out of hibernation, they go into what we call a walking hibernation, and that's just where they're kind of very slow. They meander around and they wait for the green up to start in the area. Then they go through a period of normal activity, which they were through all summer long. They do their normal thing. They eat what they can, and we give them what we can with simulating what they find in the forest and also making them work a little bit through their enrichments. When we come to August in this state, it's hyperphagia. It may happen in other areas too in August, but right now it's hyperphagia in Minnesota because that's when all the berries and the nuts are ripe. When I talk about nuts in this area, I'm talking about beaked hazelnuts because we don't have a lot of oaks up here, and the bears enjoy the beaked hazelnuts that grow abundantly on the bushes around here. So it's a very high fat content nut, and the bears enjoy it, but they also compete with the deer with that too. The next phase that our bears will go through, usually about mid-September, is going to be fall transition. It's when they slow down, their systems start slowing down, and they want to eat less and rest more. And then for our bears, around mid-October, we won't see much of Holly and Lucky. They'll go into hibernation. And Tasha follows about a week after them. And Holly's just going to sneak over and see if she might be able to take some of Tasha's food away from her here. So they're very cautious with each other, but usually Holly wins. So Tasha's going to finish up her little bit of watermelon here. Of course, the end result at the end of October is that all the bears are in hibernation, and Ted finally goes in about November, mid-November or so. So everybody sleeps for 6 to 7 months, about 6.5 months here. And we greet them at the end of March, and we're always happy when we see everybody bouncing around in their dens and ready to come out. So I want to thank everyone for listening today. Please understand about Ted. And we are just letting him have a little break. He's doing just fine. And I want to thank everybody for watching the cameras and moving them when we need them. So this is Sharon signing off from the Bear Center.